Hello, everybody. My name is Captain Nitin Joshi. I am a behavior transformation coach and a leadership development partner. And today I will be talking to you about leadership. What exactly is leadership? What does it take to be a leader? Are leaders born or are leaders bred? What are the qualities to look out for in a good leader? Are you in a leadership role? And what are the things that you should be looking out for? And most importantly, what are the tasks of a leader? What are the things that a leader is expected to do? Well, let us take a look at it. So, what exactly is leadership? Now, when we hear the word leadership, a lot of different thoughts cross our mind. You know, different people have different concepts and different ideas about leadership and leader. Most of the time, especially in a country like India, when we use the word leader, many people think very first of political leaders. But yes, we all know that leaders are there in every field and leaders are required to be there in every field. You cannot have any field, any profession, or any area of life without a leader. So I'll ask my question again. What exactly is a leader? Who is a good leader? And why do we need leaders? Many people define leadership in different ways. Some people say leadership is leading by example. Some people say leadership is leading from the front. Some people say leadership is getting the task done. And some people say leadership is guiding people. Well, leadership is all this and much more. And as I said earlier, different people have different definitions of leadership, or different people perceive leadership in different ways. So it's really very, very difficult to give a one size fits all definition of leadership. But while the definition of leadership might differ from person to person or group to group, there are a few basics of leadership which remain the same everywhere and for everyone. And we are going to take a look at some of these today. Now, as I said earlier, leadership is required in any field. If you remember your childhood days, our group of friends, our childhood gang also had a leader. One of us, one of our friends who used to lead everyone. Okay. From there to today, our professional lives, whether it's in corporate, whether it's in private sector, public sector, or whether you're a business owner, you must have realized that leadership is required everywhere. So, why is leadership important? Obviously, as we go ahead, we will see what are the different tasks that a leader is supposed to do. Every organization, every group has a certain set of rules, certain policies, certain SOPs, but there are often situations which cannot be completely covered or encompassed by these rules and SOPs. That time you need a leader to make a decision. Okay, in those crunch times, in those difficult times when everybody needs to be carried across, you need a leader. Okay, everybody knows how to do their work. Everybody knows the nitty-gritties and technicalities of their job, and everybody can easily do their day-to-day work. That's not a challenge, but a leader is required during those times when everybody thinks that, oh, my work may not be enough, or what next. That is how a leader proves oneself. Are leaders born or are leaders bred? Well, my take on this is that a leader is bred. A person needs to have some inherent qualities to be born with, but unless the right environment is provided, it is not really very easy or even possible for a person to nurture and bloom into a leader. Well, what does leadership involve? Leadership is a very, very multifaceted kind of a role. You cannot really, define leadership, or you cannot define the role of a leader into one very, very small, I would say, constricted area. Leadership involves influencing process. A leader has to influence the people that they are leading. A leader has to influence the processes that they are leading. And of course, a leader has to influence the organization or the team that they are leading. Influence for the better, influence for the positive, influence towards growth. A leader is a type of interaction. Now, by what do you mean by a type of interaction? So by a type of interaction, I mean that a leader has to act as a catalyst. Okay, a leader has to act as a catalyst amongst people to motivate them in ways that they start believing in themselves. Leader has to act as a catalyst for the organization to change, to evolve, and to grow. And of course, when you say interaction, it involves communication. That is one of the most important roles of a leader, to communicate personally with every team member and to ensure that the lines of communication in the organization are always open, up, and running. Of course, leadership is a behavior pattern. Now, what can this mean? It basically means that a leader is expected to display a certain kind of behavior at all times. Okay, a behavior which establishes a firm control without really demanding it. Okay, commanding respect, commanding control, but not demanding it. This is a lot to do with a leader's character or a leader's personality. Of course, creating and maintaining structures, the day-to-day work of the organization has to go on. For that, from time to time, structures and processes need to be created and maintained. A leader needs to know how exactly these are to be created and maintained. Getting ideas accepted. Okay, so when I say getting ideas accepted, what it basically means is that a leader has to make sure that the right ideas are conceived, thought of, and the group accepts them. Um, a good idea, which is in the long term, in a long run, beneficial for the whole group or the organization, may not necessarily be the most popular idea at that time, but a leader has to make sure that he makes his team understand and gets them accepted. Guiding, of course, a leader has to guide from the front, lead from the front. Creating a vision is one of the most important tasks that a leader can do. And what exactly do you mean by creating a vision? So, as I said earlier, people know their day-to-day tasks, people know the technicalities of their job. That is something which they learn on the job. But every once in a while, an organization and individuals are beset by the question, what next? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Towards what goal? And this is where the role of a leader as a visionary comes into play. Okay, a leader has to create a role and make everyone believe in themselves. He has to create a vision and get the people and the organization to work towards achieving that vision, so that they are all driven, they are all motivated by a sense of purpose. Everyone down to the junior most member of the team should feel that yes, what I am doing is useful, what I am doing is great, and what I am doing matters, and I am contributing towards a large vision. That is what creating a vision is all about. Causing change, of course, a team has to evolve and change with time, and a leader has to lead the change in the right direction. Okay, by default, even if there is no leader, even if there is no leader providing a direction or a change, a group or an organization will change with time, but it will be in a very haphazard and a random manner. A leader has to ensure that the change that happens is a correct form of change, a correct form of adaptation, going in the right direction without losing the goal or the sight of the vision. And that is most important. Causing change, not just causing change for the sake of it, but causing change in the right direction. Change in itself will happen, it doesn't need to be caused. But causing change means more of causing change in the right direction. Changing lives, again, one of the most important things. Leadership is all about leading people's, and people come with their own lives, their own baggages, everything that a normal life involves. A leader has to change lives, again, change them for the better. Okay, a leader has to make sure, how can a leader change lives? Well, a leader can change lives by nurturing his team members. A leader can change life by making sure that their team members are able to deal with their problems. A leader can change life by making sure that the team members and the people around them are have a sense of satisfaction about their jobs being well done. That is how a leader can change lives, by nurturing, by training the team, by helping them to enhance their skills and advance professionally. Setting and achieving goals, of course, there are some things that which are absolutely mandatory as a task of a leader, and setting and achieving goals is one of the ongoing tasks. There are some tasks which are ongoing tasks which a leader has to keep doing at all times. They never stop. Those are the day-to-day tasks of the organization. You can say the business of the organization, the job of the organization, the work that the organization or the team does. So setting and achieving goals is a part of that. Taking decisions. Now, taking decisions are just two words, taking and decisions. And it may sound very easy that some decision has to be taken, but believe me, it is not always as easy as it looks, because very often you encounter a situation in which the options available to you are not very pleasant ones. There is no such thing as a good option or a bad option. Sometimes you may have a bad option and a bad option and a bad option. Okay, or maybe even all the good options. In such situations, a leader has to take a decision, okay, and be decisive. You cannot put off taking decisions indefinitely. A leader has to, at some point of time, step down, put a foot down and say, okay, this is the decision, implement it. With or without the approval of the team, a leader has to take a decision and make sure that it is implemented. Sounds very easy, but believe me, definitely not the easiest of the tasks. And of course, taking responsibility, you might say that I delegated the task to so and so person. You might say that so and so team member below me is responsible for this work, but ultimately, please be aware, if you are the leader, finally the buck stops at you. You have to take responsibility. It's one of the most indispensable, I would say, parts of being a leader. You cannot be a leader and say that something in my department or an organization is not my lookout because someone else is handling it. If you are the leader, if you are handling it, it is your responsibility, which basically means that you need to ensure that the right person is given the task. You need to ensure that the person is properly trained for the task, and you have to ensure that the task is done as per the requirement in the required time, keeping in mind the larger vision and rules of the organization. Of course, leadership involves empowering others. Okay, one of the hallmarks of a good leader is that good leaders create other leaders. Leaders don't create followers, leaders create leaders. And this is done by empowering others. Okay? A good leader who is very, very confident and secure of one's own leadership and is not fearful that someone might, rise up and topple them from the leadership position, always makes it a point to nurture others. It is, I would say, the most the most important ongoing task that a leader can do. If a leader has provided the best of leadership to any organization and has taken the organization or the group or the team to great heights, but if that leader has not played a part in nurturing the next rung of leadership by empowering them, as soon as this leader departs, the entire thing is going to come crashing down one day. So please make sure that as a leader, you identify the right talent and you empower them. And of course, there are many more things like being a mentor, being a guardian, being like one of the senior figures to your team members, protecting them when they need it. Okay, so that is what leadership involves. So that's why I said that leadership is not something that you can, perfectly encompass in a few lines or a few words. It's a very big thing, and it's an ongoing task. You have to get up every day in the morning and be a leader all over again. It is not something that you do once and get it over with. You have to get up every day and be a leader all over again. Please keep in mind, leadership is not about seniority or position. Although, yes, most of the time senior people are given leadership because they have more experience and they have the position. But seniority and position in themselves do not ensure good leadership. Okay, it is also not about titles. Okay, so we know so many people who have got some grand fancy titles but are not really up to the mark when it comes to leadership. On the other hand, we have had so many examples around us, and you don't really need to look at the world of politics or the celebrity world or any other famous person to know who a good leader is. If you just look around yourself, you'll find so many great leaders, and you will find so many of them, leaders without titles. In any situation, they just step up, take charge, and they lead others. So that is what leadership is all about. Seniority, position, and titles do have their own role. They do have their own importance, no doubt about that. But in themselves, they cannot ensure, a good leadership. Okay, these things can at best be add-ons. Okay, but if a person is not inherently a good leader, these things are not going to help much. Okay, leadership is definitely not wielding power over others. Okay, although yes, a leader is a senior. A leader is a person who has other people working below them. A leader is, heading a team most of the time with subordinates who report to them. But that is different from wielding power over others. Okay, getting other people to do their task and ensuring timely completion of task is one thing. But if you are the kind of person who likes to wield power over others, just because it makes you feel great or just because it gives you some kind of a high, then sorry to say, you're not a very good leader. Leadership is not about wielding power over others. Leadership is leading others, getting them to complete the task, and then being a friend and a guide to them. Leadership is definitely not about ordering others around. Again, some people feel that, because I'm a leader, I can order others around. I can, command them around and I can make them do my bidding. Sorry, not at all a sign of being a good leader. You should not be ordering others around. It just shows a lack of confidence in yourself if you need to order others around. A good leader is someone who doesn't even need to order. A good leader can, with a perfect smile on the face, ask for something in a requesting tone and it is done, because the good leader has won the respect of the team members. So please keep this in mind. If you're someone who always needs to order others and threaten them and pressurize them, then you really need to take a relook at your leadership style. Okay. Now, what are the roles of a leader? A leader plays many different roles. Take a typical leader in any organization, whether it's a corporate world, whether it is the armed forces, whether it is a sports team, or it may just be a random group that has come together for some task. But there are some common roles that a leader has to do. So what are these roles? What are these different kinds of roles? There is function of the task need. Okay. A leader is a leader of a team that comes together for some task. Okay. As I said, whether it is the corporate world or the armed forces or sports teams or any other group of people, they come together and there is a leader because there is a task to be done. Okay. If there was no task, if there was nothing needed to be done, you wouldn't need leaders. But the very fact that there is a leader leading a team means that the team has come together for some kind of a task. All right. So what are the tasks? So a leader has to define the task. A leader has to make sure that everyone down to the last person in the team, the junior most person in the team, knows the task. That is what a very important thing that a leader has to do. A leader has to make a plan. Now, when I say make a plan, it doesn't mean that the leader alone makes the plan and imposes it on others. A leader has to, amongst other things, check the best person, for the task. Who's the best technical person, who's the best financial person, who's the best person to represent me in my absence, who's the best pointsman on the ground, who can be the face of the organization, and so on and so forth. There are different aspects of a task. So leader has to define the task and make a plan keeping in mind the expertise of all the others. Now again, just like taking decisions, making a plan might sound very easy, but while making a plan, a leader has to know everything about all the members of the team. Who are they? What are they? What are their abilities? What can they do? What they cannot do? And how can I make a realistic plan keeping all these things in mind? Then, of course, allocating the work and resources, one of the most regular and ongoing tasks anywhere. A leader has to make sure that allocation of resources is done and the work is done in a manner that doesn't unnecessarily or overly burden any one part of the team, and that it is evenly distributed and the complete justice is done even to the task. Controlling the quality and tempo of work, quality control, again, one of the most routine and ongoing tasks of a leader. And checking performance against plan, reality check, very important. A leader might have to alter the plan, but to do that, the leader has to know how exactly things are going, whether they are going according to the plan or not. Functions for a group need, setting standards by personal example. So a group is people, and as I said, a leader is leading a group of people. So setting standards by personal example, a leader has to set the highest standards of personal example. A leader has to lead by example. I mean, the only kind of leadership there is leading by example. If it is not being done by example or from the front, it is not leadership at all. Okay, you can call it anything, but it is leadership only and only when the leader is doing it from the front, setting personal examples. Okay, or you can call it walking the talk, or you can even call it setting. I mean, setting an example. Okay, so that a leader has to do. Without this, you might be technically the most sound person, you might have the maximum knowledge, but if you're the kind of person who just likes to sit in the cabin and issue orders and instructions, sorry, the people will not listen to you for very long. You're not being a leader. Okay. Then, of course, maintaining discipline and correcting mistakes. Discipline has to be enforced very strictly. No group, no organization, no team can function without discipline. And discipline simply means everyone being at the right time, at the right place, doing the right thing whenever it is required. That is the simplest definition of discipline, and a leader has to ensure that nothing is done that is detrimental to the coherence of the group, and nothing is done that is detrimental to the interest of the task or the organization. A leader has to maintain discipline, and sometimes harsh decision needs to be taken. A leader has to be, kind of person who can take that harsh decision as and when required. Then, of course, encourage and motivate. One of the most important jobs a leader can do. Okay, when I say a leader has to set a vision, not only set a vision, leader also has to motivate and inspire the team to achieve that vision. A leader has to make the team believe that yes, this vision can be achieved. You can do this. Okay, if there is any team member who is beset with doubt, a leader has to be able to take that doubt away and say, no, don't worry, you will do it. We are all there for you. Okay, a sense of purpose. A leader who can do this, a leader who can encourage and motivate and give a sense of purpose after, of course, setting a vision. That leader doesn't really have to worry about the task getting done. The team will over deliver. But please keep this in mind: encouraging, motivating, and giving a sense of purpose. Delegation, one of the most important tasks that a leader can do and a leader should do, because realistically, no matter how good a leader you are, you cannot do all the tasks yourself. You need to keep some time for yourself to do long-term planning and the tasks that you and only you as a leader can do. So you have to delegate. To delegate, you have to know who your team members are. You have to pick up the right people for the right job. You have to train them. Okay, and you have to now this. If you realize that every task or every function of a leader involves so many other functions, right? When you say setting standards by personal example, it means that the leader has to be the best in what they do. Their professional competence is very important. It is only then that they can set standards by personal example. Okay, to maintain discipline and correct mistakes, a leader has to be a good, people's person. A leader should know what people are and be in a position to take an extremely harsh decision whenever required without backfiring. So again, delegation is all about knowing your people. Delegation is all about training your people. Ensuring communication within the group, extremely important. I always say that communication is the lifeblood of any group. Without communication, no group can survive. And a leader has to ensure that there is a communication within the group. Now, again, to do this, a leader has to know every team member very closely and very nicely and know what are the things going on within the group or the team. Then, of course, a leader also has to do some tasks, individual tasks for individual team members, like attending to personal problems. Praising of individuals might sound very simple, might sound very good, but it is something that can go a very, very long way in motivating and encouraging them. A simple small praise or just a simple pat on the back can really work wonders for the team members. And as I always say, that praising team members, and we will see this as we go ahead also, that the bouquet should always be given publicly, the brickbats should be given privately. Okay, always praise in public and criticize or scold within the confines of your room. Okay, so praising of individuals, very important for each individual, each team member to feel personally appreciated and valued. Knowing individuals personally, this is the very basis, the ABC of leadership. No team member can, or no leader can really succeed or do other tasks well unless the leader knows the team members individually and personally. And when I say know, it is not just enough to know their names and their roles, but their personalities, their strengths, their weaknesses, okay, their peculiarities, if any. And then, of course, only then can the team member recognize and use individual abilities and train individuals. Okay, so even when it comes to training, each individual will have different training requirements. For that, the leader has to know. So as I told you, all these things are so interconnected with each other. Okay, for a leader to train individuals, the leader has to know what training which individual needs. So basically, what abilities this person have, what tasks can I get this person to do. For that, knowing individually everyone is extremely important. Okay, however, after everything, if you ask me what are the most important tasks of a leader, or what are the things that a leader has to give absolutely top priority to, then these are the things that you see on the screen: creating a vision, coaching and building a team, empowering others, and building the next rung of leadership and the rung after that. So second and third rung of leadership. So if a leader does these things well, I think most of the other tasks or most of the other functions of a leader pretty much get taken care of by themselves. Okay. So What according to you, just think for yourself, what according to you is the one simple yardstick of a good leader, and why? Now, the answer to this will differ from person to person, depending on the situation, depending on the task, and depending on the leader that you're thinking of. But most of the time, I can challenge you that most of the yardsticks, when you define of a good leader, will be within what we have seen and what we are going to see. A very, very important difference between a leader and a manager. Okay, every leader has to be by default a manager, but every manager doesn't become a leader. I told you that leadership is not about position or titles or a fancy cabin. Okay, that is what is for managers. Okay, a good manager is a person who is empowered by the organization, empowered by rules, and can work very well within the confines of those rules, regulations, and the organizational law. But that leader, that manager may not necessarily become a good leader, because there are always things over and above the job description that need to be done. And those things are what makes a good leader. Of course, every leader by default has to be a good manager. You cannot be a bad manager and be a good leader. It doesn't work that way, because being a good manager is all about your professional competence. Being a good manager is making sure that the day-to-day tasks are being done. Being a good manager is all about ensuring that the the targets set for the team are being met and things are running smoothly on a day-to-day basis. Okay, every department is doing their work, every individual is doing their work, they are getting resources allocated on time. That is what being a manager is all about, and without that you cannot be a leader. Okay, you cannot have a situation in which the group is not doing their day-to-day tasks, people don't know what to do, there is no profits coming in and targets are not being met, and you have the leader sitting in the cabin and thinking of a long-term vision. So it doesn't happen that way. So every leader has to be by default a good manager, but every manager does not necessarily become a good leader. Having said that, let me tell you this, that managers are very important. Okay, this is not to belittle the role of managers. Managers are of course very important. uh, any person who wants to be a great leader needs to have very good managers working under them. Please keep in mind. Okay, if you're leading an organization or heading a team or a group, if you appoint good managers to head various functions, then you can completely take your attention off the day-to-day tasks and focus on long-term vision and long-term goal planning. So for a leader to be a good leader, the leader needs great managers. Without great managers, or without being a great manager oneself, you cannot be a leader. Okay, but as I said, being a leader is over and above the job description, over and above your position, over and above the standard operating procedures. That is what a leader is. Okay, so just a few differences between managers and leaders. Okay, what a manager focuses on versus what a leader focuses on. Now again, let me reiterate here, it is not about right and wrong. It is not to say that managers are wrong and leaders are right. It's just about what a manager focuses on and what a leader focuses on. And as I said earlier, to be a good leader, you have to be by default a good manager. Okay, so if your right column, the leadership focus, can come only after your left column, the manager focus, is being met. If as a manager you're not meeting your focus, then you cannot hope to be a leader. If you're not able to keep your flock together, if you're not able to keep your organization together, if you're not able to keep the day-to-day functions and the work going, sorry, you will not, and then in spite of that, if you're looking at any being a leader, sorry, you're just daydreaming. Okay, so that is what managers versus leader is all about. Last but not the least, leadership is a balancing act. Okay, a leader has to be lenient, a leader has to decide when to be lenient and when to be strict. So while enforcing discipline, yes, most of the time in some matters you cannot afford to be lenient, you have to be strict and take the harshest possible measures. But there are times when you can be lenient, there are times when you can make an exception, have some consideration for the person involved, and just let them off with a warning. Every case does not necessarily have to end with harsh punishment, but that a leader has to have the discretion on when to be lenient, when to be strict. Similarly, following rules versus breaking them, the main task, the main focus has to be getting the task done. Without that, things don't go. But sometimes if you need to bend rules or break them, not for your personal benefit or anybody else's personal gain, but to make sure that the organization benefits and the task is done, then yes, the leader has to balance between the two. People versus task, very important. Should I give priority to the welfare of people and the task? You cannot be growing extreme in any one direction. Okay, if you are just a welfare oriented people's person, the task suffers. If you're a taskmaster who likes to drive people without a break relentlessly, the people suffer. And when the people suffer, the task ultimately suffers. So, you have to balance the two very well. Stubborn versus flexible, again, it is same as following rules versus bending rules. Process versus innovation. So yes, day-to-day work has to go on. For that, process is required. For long-term growth and change, innovation is required. A leader has to balance the two. Okay, making sure that long-term vision and long-term planning happens without affecting the day-to-day task. At the same time, the day-to-day tasking doesn't take away too much of time and energy, so that long-term planning suffers. So process and innovation equally important. Talking and listening, extremely important parts of communication. Talking as well as listening. A leader has to be a good listener, and a leader should talk things only that make sense and are really important for the team to hear. And last but not the least, openness versus secrecy. Everybody doesn't have to know everything. There are a few things which need to be kept a secret, even within an organization. A leader has to be discreet about what to be open about and what to be secret about. Right. So that is as far as the basic concept of leadership is concerned. Let us take a look at what are the good qualities of a leader. Okay, what are the good qualities of a leader? Now, there are several qualities, okay, that a leader needs to have. Now, what I would really urge all of you to do is that as we are going through these qualities of a leader, okay, as I focus on each quality of a leader, just take down a notebook and a pen and write down that when I name a particular quality, or when we are, when I'm describing a particular quality of a leader, which is the first leader that comes to your mind associated with that particular quality. Okay. So just an exercise that you can do for yourself, that whenever as I'm discussing these qualities one by one, please take a notebook and pen and see what are the qualities, or which is the first name that comes to your mind as a leader when that particular quality is discussed. Okay. So, and then of course, find out for yourself what is the one good indicator of a successful leader, or one good quality. Again, the answer will differ from person to person, situation to situation, but I can still assure you that whatever quality you name will be the same as one of the qualities that we are going to discuss now shortly. Character. Character is just another name for honesty, integrity, accountability, and transparency. Okay, so character extremely important. When you're in a leadership role anywhere, in any place, people are watching you. The followers are watching you. People are going to watch you. People are going to see what you do. People are going to see, and more often than not, as a leader, you will often have the flexibility and the leeway to do something wrong and get away with it. But believe me, nobody gets away with it. Okay, people watch you. People see you. People see how honest you are. Okay, you lead people more by your action than by your words. Character is an absolutely indispensable. You have to have impeccable character. You have to be honest. You have to be transparent, and you have to have integrity. Without that, sorry, you will not remain a leader for very long. Charisma is all about connecting with people. Charisma is all about how people feel about you. Charisma is all about what people have to say about you. Okay, so again, extremely important when it comes to charisma. The bottom line is open-minded, other-mindedness. How oriented you are towards others and how others perceive you. It's an image that you build in front of others. And that and it's important. And when I say image, it is not a false image. It is the kind of persona that you project onto others, that they should feel comfortable in your presence. Your presence as a leader should be reassuring to them. Okay, that is charisma. Commitment, of course, goes without saying that without commitment, nothing happens, and that's where a leader's role comes into play. A leader has to motivate others, especially when things seem to be going down. And a leader has to, but a leader can motivate others only when the leader is oneself committed. Okay. A leader who is not committed oneself and cannot motivate oneself, and a leader cannot motivate oneself, cannot motivate others. So commitment, absolutely important. Communication, I have said it before, and I cannot, begin to overemphasize the importance of communication. Communication, as I've always said, is the lifeblood of an organization, and a leader has to ensure that this blood keeps circulating. And the communication has to be two-way. A leader has to make sure that everyone down to the last person in the organization is aware about the goals and the tasks. A leader has to make sure that people within the team are communicating with each other, and a leader has to make sure that there is feedback, honest and open feedback coming. Okay. Now, for this, a leader has to project an image of someone who is open and who is approachable. Competence, again, I told you that a good leader has to be by default a good manager. So for this, professional competence is required. You might have all the other qualities, but if you are not good at the work, end of the day, if you are not able to do what you are asking others to do, if you are not able to do it at least as good as them, then again, your status as a leader is not going to last very long. Competence is something that gets you to that position in the first place. Okay, so how well do you know your work? How well do you practice, or how committed you are to your work? Competence, absolutely, as I say, indispensable to being a good leader. Courage is all about moral courage, standing up for what is right, even if you have to personally suffer for that and take the fall for that. So it's absolutely, again, one of the most indispensable things in being a leader is courage. And courage over here is more to do with moral courage. This is also the same as character or integrity. Okay, nothing much different. A person who has character will have moral courage, and vice versa. You cannot have one without the other. Okay, so all these qualities are again, interlinked with each other. Discernment is basically all about knowing what to do and what not to do as per the situation. Having the sense, or having the consciousness to act according to the situation, knowing what to do, knowing what not to do. You know, it comes from the word discreet. How discreet are you? How well are you able to understand and read the situation? How well are you able to understand and read the people? Okay, and act accordingly. You cannot behave the same way in two different situations. Sometimes you cannot behave in the same way, even in the same situation repeating itself, because few things might be different. So discernment, a leader should know how exactly to behave, with the same person in two different situations, or two different people in the same situation, or the same situation repeating itself. What is different? How should I behave? Discernment. Again, focus is all about priorities and concentration. Okay, where is the leader focusing one's own time and energy, and where is the leader focusing the resources of the team and the energy of the team? That is again what focus is all about. For good focus, professional competence is required. So as I said, these qualities are all interlinked with each other. Okay, so for good focus, any leader who has to have a good focus has to be professionally competent. Generosity, one of the most important qualities of a leader. A leader, is by definition the head of the family. Okay, the leader of a team is like a head of a family. The senior most person, maybe not by age, but by designation and often by experience. So be big not only in your position, but also be big, big of heart, and be generous. This is how you win people over. Okay, don't have don't be the kind of leader who is taken in by petty things. Be a generous person, be a good person. It's very important, because see, as a leader, you're dealing mainly with people. You're also dealing with resources, you're also dealing with money, you're also dealing with all the other things, but they are non-living things. The people that you're dealing with are your most important asset, and you really need to win them over. Okay, you really need to win them over. I mean, one of the hallmarks of a good leader that I like to always say is that how well do the people respect you after you have stopped being their leader? Till the time you're their leader, because of your designation or because of some other factors, they might respect you by default because they have to. But a real good test of how good leader you have been will be how generous you are to them, or how much do they respect you, or how much do they acknowledge you after you stop being their leader. It should not happen that the day you stop being their leader, next day onward they start ignoring you. That means you have not been a good human being, and being generous is an important part of that. Okay. Initiative, again, I would say the most basic ABC of being a leader. Without initiative, you cannot be a leader. If just normal day-to-day tasks have to be done, then a manager is enough. A leader is needed for change, and for change, you need initiative. And also, there are times when standard rules and SOPs don't apply. There are some decisions that need to be taken outside them. That is where your initiative comes into play. So, initiative is just pushing yourself to act. Now, again, when you say initiative, it's all about leading by example. Okay. And for initiative, you even need professional competence. So, see, all these qualities are interlinked with each other. Okay. Right. Listening, I don't think I have emphasized this point any less throughout this session. Communication and especially listening. Okay, do not stifle the voices of your team. Do not stifle the voices of those below you. Listening, absolutely indispensable. One of the most important things that a leader has to do. Keep the lines of communication open and please listen to others. Take their feedback, listen to them. Okay. Passion, a leader has to be a passionate. There is no such thing as a leader who is not passionate, because ultimately your motivation runs out and you know your competence might run into some new technological development. That is where passion will keep you going. Okay. If you see all the successful people, especially the successful leaders, and especially those who have faced crunch situations and managed to, as they say, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, they all had passion. Okay, passion is what drives you. When you say motivation, it's all about having passion. How much do you believe in the vision? How much do you believe in the task? How much do you believe in what you're doing? That's passion. And absolutely, again, I would say indispensable thing, passion. Positive attitude, again, same as passion. Positive attitude, same as moral courage. Positive attitude, you cannot allow any situation to make you feel down or look as if you're down. Positive attitude, again, one of the indispensables of leadership. Cannot have leadership, or you cannot think of leadership without positive attitude. So absolutely must, very much required. Also, positive attitude is a fallout of professional competence. Okay, because positive attitude is all about having faith in your capabilities and being able to tackle any task. And for that, as a leader, professional competence is an absolute must. Problem solving, okay, so people will come to you with problems. You have to be able to solve them, or at least give them enough confidence to be able to solve their problems themselves. Okay, one of the ongoing tasks of a leader, okay, whether it's even a small team of a handful of people to the biggest of organizations, there will be problems, and leader is the one who has to solve them. Everybody knows there is a problem. Okay, so a leader who says that, oh, there is a problem, what should we do, is not a leader at all. Okay, solving problems, that's why, that's why you're the leader, right? You have to solve that problem. Okay. Relationships, again, all about communications and building team. Okay, building good relationships with your team members and making sure that they have good interpersonal relationships among themselves. A very important thing, a leader has to lead a team, and a team has to have good bonding amongst each other. So relationships, extremely important. Responsibility, I again don't think we can overemphasize this point. A leader has to take the responsibility. I've said this earlier, the buck stops at the leader. You might have delegated the task to someone else. You might have asked someone else to do it, but finally, the final, as I say, the buck stops with the leader. The responsibility is of the leader. Okay, so a leader cannot say that the task failed because of so and so person. A leader has to step up and say, yes, I selected the person for the task, so it was my responsibility. Self-discipline, extremely important. A leader is also a human being, and subject to all the temptations that any human being is subject to. But self-discipline is what this is. Self-discipline is a very essential part of character, as the first quality of a leader that we saw. Okay, so it's self-discipline. You know, you again cannot have a leader without self-discipline. And why self-discipline? Because the leader is the senior most person. The leader is, there is usually nobody directly above the leader, or you know, so leader is pretty much independent. So if a leader is not disciplined, then of course there can be no hope of discipline within the team. Teachability, a leader has to be a good learner. We saw earlier that training the team is one of the most important tasks of a leader, but for that, a leader has to be teachable and trainable oneself. Okay, a leader cannot say that, okay, only let my team learn and grow, and I can afford to not learn. Doesn't work that way. A leader has to be teachable. A leader has to be able to learn, because typically in any organization or in any group, in a corporate world or anywhere else, for that matter, a leader is usually a person with many years of experience, and things are changing fast nowadays, right? From technology to the way of working to everything is changing so fast. A leader cannot be heading a team of people and not know what they are doing. So a leader has to learn what is the latest trend, or what is the latest in my field of work. And for that, a leader has to be open to learning, even from the juniors and subordinates. A leader has to be teachable. Otherwise, how will you make sure that the tasks are happening as required? And last but not the least, vision. That is what leadership is all about. If I have to name just one thing that a leader has to do well, it has to be setting a vision. Paint a target. Okay, okay, this is what you have to achieve, this is what we have to do. Okay, a leader who does everything else but doesn't set a vision is always going to miss something or the other, right? So that is as far as the different qualities of a leader are concerned. Finally, let us look at some do's and don'ts. What are the things that a leader needs to do, and what are the things that leader does not need to do. Okay, there are always do's and don'ts. There are always things that you should be doing and things that you should not be doing. Things to be ensured that they are done and things to be avoided. What are they as a leader? So let us take a look at them. Let me again share some. Yeah, exactly. Right. So these are the do's and don'ts of leadership. What are the do's and don'ts? Things that a leader should do and things that a leader should never ever do. So amongst do's is understanding emotions. Okay, as a leader, you are dealing with human beings. You are leading human beings, not machines. Okay, you have to understand their emotions. Human beings are emotional beings. Human beings need to be motivated. Human beings need to be understood. And when I say understand, uh, understand people's emotions, I'm not saying every time you understand something you justify or accept it. Okay, but if you understand emotions, you understand why people are behaving the way they are. Okay, so if there is a wrongdoer who is doing something wrong, by all means be harsh and take punishments, or give punishments. But if you understand the emotions behind those actions, you will be able to prevent them in the future. So understanding doesn't necessarily mean approving or accepting if something that is wrong. Understanding just means knowing why things happen the way they happen, so that you can prevent them from happening. And of course, understanding your own emotions and the emotions of the team. Okay, as human beings, we very often get carried away in our emotions. We can't afford that. So a leader has to understand the emotions so that they can be kept in check. Know yourself, again, very important. A leader has to know oneself, which includes one's own strengths and weaknesses, which includes uh, where I may need to step aside and give someone else a situational leadership. So leader has to know oneself. Very, very important. You know, uh, the most difficult thing in life is knowing oneself. That is absolutely true. Think and act with optimism. So a leader has to think and act with absolute optimism. A leader cannot afford, to let there be even a single, I would say, iota of negativity or doubt or any kind of, I would say, depression in the group or the team. A leader always has to think and act with optimism. When people look at the leader, they should say that yes, this is the person who is the most positive. This is the person who is going to take us out of the problem. Even if the leader is feeling very, very, I would say, depressed or hollow from within, which might happen because the leader is also a human being. But a leader has to act with optimism and show the world that yes, things are happening, and a leader has to think that way. Get only the best person for the job. Okay, One of the tasks as a leader is to delegate or to build a team. Take only the best. Don't take people just because you know them or they know you, or they have done you some favor in the past. Please don't do that. You're doing injustice to the task and to your team and to the other team members. Please hire only the best for the task. Do not let your personal emotions or your biases or your prejudices to come in the way. Absolutely not acceptable as a leader. Set a clear vision. We have been over this so many times earlier in this session. Set a very clear vision. Let the team members know where exactly they are going and why they are doing it, and whatever they are doing it, what is it going to achieve. Okay, a vision for the organization, a vision for the individuals, vision for teams and sub teams. Set very clear vision that ultimately this is where you're going to get, and set a realistic vision. Set a true vision. It is something that will motivate your team every single day. When everything else fails, you just know that yes, this is the vision that we have to achieve. Let's go, let's hit it. Okay, so set extremely clear cut visions. Keep the plan simple. Okay, so always keep things simple. One of the tasks of leaders is to simplify things for everyone. Things might be complicated, things might be highly technical, things might be not very appealing or easy looking, but a leader has to make them simple and keep things simple. Make plans that are simple. Make things that even the person with the least IQ on the team can understand and do. And that's how you take the team along, and that's how you succeed. Give recognition. Again, I've said this. Give recognition, and please give recognition publicly. The importance of giving recognition can never be overemphasized. Okay, we all crave praise. We all want to be praised. We all want someone to pat our backs once in a while and tell us good job done. A recognition doesn't necessarily have to always mean giving somebody an award and telecasting it on television. Recognition can be a simple pat on the back or a simple word of appreciation in front of others. It goes a long way. Okay. Punishing someone who has done wrong is important, but equally or more important is giving recognition to those who are doing a good job. It keeps them going, and again, as I said, something as simple as a pat on the back, or just tell the team member, you're doing a great job, come and have a cup of tea with me. Even these things can really boost a person's morale and increase the feel good factor. And such small acts of recognition every day will go a long way in really see the difference. When you start giving recognition, see the difference in the motivation of your team. You'll be amazed. Listen again. I've said this earlier. Communication, one of the most basic and important tasks of a leader, and listening is the most important part of communicating. Listening is learning. Listening is getting a good feedback. Listening also means that the other people feel respected. Okay, when you listen to the others, when you listen to what they have to say, they feel respected, they feel valued. Instead of just talking, you listen to them once in a while, let them have a say without interruption. They will really respect you and they'll feel good about it. And of course, they are able to vent out their feelings to you. If there is a if there is a grievance, or if there is something wrong, don't sweep it under the carpet. Let it be aired openly so that it can be solved. And for that, you have to be a listener. Extremely important. Care for the people. Again, it's all a part of being generous. Please care for the people. Your team members, they are human beings, and you need to care for them. You're not, I mean, they are not there to, for you to use them for your own benefit and then, discard them. Care for them. Be a human being. Okay. Be a good leader, but first be a good human being. Care for your people, care for your team. Drive them like crazy. Drive them to their limit when the task is concerned. But at the same time, also make sure that you're providing the very basic comfort and very basic things for them. If you're asking someone to stay overnight for a task, make sure that the person has something to eat in the night. If you're asking someone to come to work on a Sunday, make sure that person gets a compensatory off for a family times on some other day. They're small things, but they go a long way. As I said, you're leading people, you're leading human beings more than anything else. Okay, so driving them for the task is very important, but equally important to care for them. Put yourself into their place. You care for them, they don't mind working for you overtime. But if you just make them work and slog and then just don't even look at them, they get disgruntled. Okay, exactly the way you would. So please care for people. Eliminate barriers, very important. There are barriers, there are going to be problems. That is where your role as a leader comes into play. When everyone is depressed, if you also get into the same mode, then there is no point having you as a leader, right? So eliminate barriers. Okay. There are barriers, you have to get rid of them. You have to solve the problem. You have to solve the task. Stay focused on the purpose. Okay. So whatever is the purpose, in our mundane day-to-day work and activities, it is very easy to lose sight and focus of the purpose or the vision. A leader has to stay focused and keep the team focused. Proactive coaching. Okay. So we have been over this before. Making sure that your team, you recognize the talent and the skills in your team members, and you coach them so that they can become better, they can grow better, they can become more useful members of the team, and they can benefit from it personally. Okay. What are the don'ts? Things that are not to be done as a leader. Don'ts are more important than do's, because do's are something that you will learn on the task. Don'ts should be known from day one. So what are the things you don't do? Don't discount others. You cannot be a kind of person who, when everything is done, just says, oh, or everything happened only because of my leadership. Don't ever discount others. The smallest of the contribution has to be acknowledged and appreciated. Don't discount others ever. Don't blame others. The buck stops with you. You are the leader. You are responsible. Whatever happened has to have happened with your approval. Don't blame others. Ultimately, I mean, see, it's one thing, if somebody has genuinely done a mistake or committed some slip up, you take disciplinary action against them. That is one thing that is needed as a part of the organization. But ultimately, the responsibility lies on you, and you have to ultimately see, okay, where did I fall short as a leader? Okay, I've taken the action, so and so broke the discipline, or so and so did not do a work properly. I have taken the action as needed. But in all this, ask yourself, where did I fall short as a leader, and rectify that so it doesn't happen again. Don't avoid conflicts. I told you, listening, the most important part. Let people talk. There is something negative, some conflict. Please let it be aired openly, and then don't avoid it. Please face it and solve it. A conflict simply means something wrong somewhere in the organization or the team, and that needs to be rectified. If you neglect it, if you avoid it, neglect it, it can lie dormant for a few days, but ultimately it will come back to bite you and the team. So please don't avoid conflicts. Okay, don't be a kind of, if you don't have the stomach for conflict, please don't be a leader. There are going to be conflicts, there are going to be clashes. You have to manage them and move along. Sometimes conflicts become unavoidable. Okay, so especially when a team is going through a big change, so that time don't avoid conflicts. Don't ever lose sight of the goal. This has been said earlier. Don't lose sight of the goal. Don't lose sight of the purpose. As a leader, you are also a human being. Once in a while, you also might get swayed by the whole occasion, if I can call it that. But as a leader, you don't have any right. You don't have the luxury of losing sight of the goal. Don't talk more than listening. We have been over this before. Listening is most important. No matter how junior or how small the team member is, when they are talking, please listen. Don't interrupt them. Don't interrupt them. Just let them talk and listen to them. It might seem like a small thing, but it goes a long, long way in earning you the respect of your team members. Don't isolate yourself. If you're not a people's person, if you're an introvert, please leave the leadership position. A leader has to be an extrovert, and a leader has to be a kind of person who interacts with people, who allows people to come on and who allows people to meet. Don't isolate yourself. Not acceptable as a leader. And last but not the least, don't take all the credit. Distribute the credit. You might be the best of the leaders around, but you cannot do anything on your own. Okay, so you have to give credit to others without taking it yourself. So these are the few aspects of leadership. I know something like leadership cannot be covered fully in a slideshow of a few minutes or a few hours, but those are the basics and essentials of leadership, and you can put them into practice, and you can definitely let me know what exactly you feel about them. Your feedback is most welcome, and all kinds of feedback. If you feel that something needs to be improved, please let me know. And thank you very much for watching.